So hello everyone and welcome to this video. How are you all doing? I hope you have been reading, and what have you been reading? So in this video I thought that we should talk about what I have been up to book wise, reading wise since February. I think I posted my last full length video in the month of January. So a lot of things have also happened since February, from February to March. As you all know, March/February is the season for releasing long lists, short lists, and all that. So I'm also going to talk about the long lists and the short lists that have been released and the books that are included therein. Then I'll also talk to you guys about what I have been reading and what I've been getting up to in my reading. So if you're interested to hear all about it, stay tuned. So first of all, let's get to the lists. So in the month of March, I think, at least I'm aware of 3 lists that were released. The long list for the Women's Prize for Fiction, the long list for the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction, the Booker Prize long list, and then the Carol Shields long list. So I'm going to tell you guys all about it. So first of all, the Booker Prize, as you all know, is mostly for translated fiction. So it covers books that were originally written in another language and now they have been translated to English, or they were translated to English in the last year, that's in the year 2025. So concerning the Booker Prize, we have titles such as Taiwan Travel Log, The Witch, The Wax Child, Women Without Men, and other titles. So I actually made a post about it on my Instagram. You can go and check it out. And I talked about 3 books I would love to read from that list, and I would really love to read The Witch. I think it is a story that follows a woman who is a witch, and then she also has a daughter who also has the same talent, and then it turns out that the daughter's own talent is much more than her own, and then the book explores the family dynamics in such a family, because they also have a father who is not endowed with witchery powers and all that, and then how the dynamics in the family plays out. So that is a book I would really love to check out in from the Booker Prize Longlist 2026. And as I said before, you can check out my post on Instagram concerning the prizes, all of them, not just the Booker Prize, the Women's Prize for Fiction and Non-Fiction, even the Carol Shields Prize. And also another book I would like to check out from the Booker Prize long list is The Wax Child, written by Olga Raven. Olga Raven is the one that wrote it, and it talks about the Danish witch trials of the 17th century. That is a topic I really like reading about. So it explores that topic, and I would really love to check it out. And I would also like to know which book from the Booker Prize long list that you would like to read. So coming to the Women's Prize, the long list for the Women's Prize for Fiction. So you have titles like The Best of Everything by Kate DeVal. She's also the one that wrote My Name is Leon. You have Dominion by Adi Kitchens. You have books like Gloria Don't Speak by Lucy Apps, which is one I would really like to check out. You also have Kingfisher by Rosie Kelly, The Others by Yvette Davies, and many other titles. For the Women's Prize of Fiction, I think 16 books in all were nominated. So we're looking forward to the shortlist and then for the winner to be announced. I think the winner will be announced in May. I think, I'm not really sure. So coming to the women's long list, the long list for the Women's Prize for Fiction. Of course, for non-fiction rather. Of course, non-fiction, you expect to see memoirs, biographies, historical books, and all that. So it explores topics such as migration, topics such as nature, topics such as race, marriage, feminism, marriage, as I said before. So a whole host of topics are really explored in the books that were nominated for the Women's Prize for Nonfiction 2026. And then I would say this is the most interesting prize I'm going to talk about, but I'm really interested in this prize, the Carol Shields Prize. So this prize is targeted at women and non-binary writers that are in the US and Canada. So it is not a worldwide thing. And for the year 2026, 15 books have been nominated, have been longlisted for this prize. The award, the Carol Shields Award, was actually established in the year 2023, and I think they have just two winners, and I think it includes When We Were Sisters. I can't really remember the author right now, but When We Were Sisters is one of the books that have won this Carol Shields Award, and as I said before, it was established in 2023, so it is quite a young award. And then for this prize, I think a Guardian and a Thief and Audition are two books that were also nominated for the, I think, Women's Prize for Nonfiction. So it is a double nomination for these two books. I think Audition and a Guardian and a Thief. And A Guardian and a Thief is a book I would really like to check out. I think it follows a woman, I think, who lost her travel documents or her visa, or passport and visa, something like that was stolen by somebody. And it explores the topic of why we do the things we do. Because somebody that is a thief, I think, will receive condemnation from everybody. But then this book goes on to talk about, okay, why would somebody want to steal somebody's travel documents? I think that kind of topic is explored in that book, and I would really love to check it out. And it has quite a unique name, don't you think? You can also check out my channel. On this channel, I think I did two short videos about these books that have been longlisted in these different prize categories. Also, another thing that happened between February and March is that I read or I listened to my first ever audiobook, and I read my first ever e-book. In some spaces, you will see the argument that ebooks, audiobooks do not count as reading, but I just thought I should check it out. And also, between February and March, I also reread. It was my first reread for the year. The book I reread was my first 5-star read for last year. And then I just started having the sudden urge to go and read it again. I don't know, I just wanted to read it, and I read it, and it was a fun time, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. But first, let me talk about some of the audiobooks that I listened to in between February and March. So I listened to, I think, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Then I listened to The Game of Life and How to Play It. I think I also listened to that book. Then I listened to some short stories, the Poirot series by Agatha Christie. I think I listened to one of the stories in that series. Then concerning ebooks, I actually read an ebook which is an ARC copy, an advanced reader's copy, which is my very first. I don't know if I can call it that, but the book is set to come out later in the year, I think in September. And it is called Manufacturing a Duchess. So what actually made me to go for the book, the name, Manufacturing a Duchess, and I was like, okay, Manufacturing a Duchess. A duchess is something that has to do with the past. In the medieval times, that was when we had duchesses, and then manufacturing is a very contemporary word. And I was like, okay, let us see what is going on here. So I went ahead and received the ARC copy, and I read it. So this Manufacturing a Duchess is a book that follows a young, a young duchess, or rather it follows a young man. I think his name is Alec Rayburn, on his quest to find a wife for himself and a mother for his young vivacious daughter. His wife died, I think during childbirth or something like that. So now he has a young daughter whom he's having a lot of a hard time raising, as it were. So he's number one looking for a wife, and then for his a mother for his daughter, and also his family business. He has a title. In the olden days, English people, they were all about class, and then his family is a well-titled family. But then they have come into financial difficulty. You don't really want to spoil the whole book. So he sets out on a quest to find a wife that can also alleviate the dire financial straits that his family is in. Because in those days, when you are marrying a woman, she's coming with a dowry. So how he goes about doing this and who he ends up choosing is not who you might expect. So you have to read that book, Manufacturing a Duchess, to find out. So I really enjoyed it, and then I really appreciate the writers or the publishers for making the ARC copy available. So that was my very first e-book. And I also like to say that the Manufacturer Duchess, I think it falls under the category of YA romance. That's how I see it. And then concerning audiobooks, I think I prefer audiobooks, listening to poems as audiobooks rather than stories, because listening to books in form of audio, they quickly pass, and then maybe if I forget a tiny fact, then how do I go back and go and refresh my memory? That is in my own opinion. I think I prefer to listen to poems rather than stories as audio books. As I said earlier, between February and March, I also reread a book, and that book is Glittering Images by Susan Howatch. If you have been on this channel, you remember that I read that book last year. It was my first 5-star read, and that was just when I was just even beginning this channel or posting about books online. So I now went back and reread the book, and guys, it was such a fun time. It was as if I had never even read the book before. So basically, Glittering Images follows Dr. Charles Ashworth, who is a doctor of divinity in the Church of England, as he goes on a mission that he was sent to by the Archbishop of Canterbury, no less. So he sent him as a spy to the church in Starbridge. It's actually a series, the Starbridge series. So I think this is the first book. So he goes to Starbridge to spy on the Bishop of Starbridge, who is Alex Jardine, to find out whether he is in fact having an affair with his wife's, I think, secretary. So as a tale like this, you can expect salacious details, episcopal scandal, and things like that. So this is a journey of discovery that Dr. Charles Ashworth goes on, hoping to discover things about the bishop in Starbridge. But in the end, the discoveries he makes are mostly about himself. How is that even possible? How did that end up happening? You can only find out when you read this book. This book is a page turner. You will be at the edge of your seats practically throughout the whole book. I did a review for the book on my Instagram. You can check it out, where I wrote out everything that I thought and how the book affected me. And it is a book I will still love to reread. And then, if I get my eyes on my hands on other books in the series, I'm going to grab them and run away with them. That is how good this book was. And after reading it for the second time, I still gave it a 5-star. It was thoroughly well written, good storytelling at its best. And I'll urge you to check out Glittering Images by Susan Howatch. So I was going on and on about the new things that I did between February and March. I forgot to tell you guys, I also read some good old books. Like I read a novel, Bad Love, which is a horror thriller novel. I also completed Around the World in 80 Days. If you have been following on Instagram, you know that I also started it, Around the World in 80 Days. Not the first one, but that was written by, I think, Phileas Hogg back in the day. No, this one was written by Michael Palin for the BBC. So where he basically goes around the world to different countries, and it is well documented. Very, very entertaining book. I also finished it in the period in question. as I told you guys earlier, I think in January, I'm trying my best to participate in the anti brain rot reading challenge. I don't know, excuse me. I don't know if any of you are participating in that challenge, but I'm trying my best to participate. So on the non-fiction front, I read Adult Children. I also posted about it on Instagram. So you can go and check it out. And you can also check out the shorts video I did about it. Adult Children by two psychologists, husband and wife psychologists. So I also read that book and also read Fringes of Power, number 10 Downing Street Diaries, which none of these books I read in totality because after all they are fiction books. So you don't have to read them to see the end of the story. They are just ongoing. So those are the two non fiction books that I read in the month between February and March.